There's just extra challenges that we face every single day, and the fact that it's such a male-dominated sport and has been for a really long period of time, it's almost like you're never quite good enough. For me, when I was growing up, I played in boys' teams because that was the only opportunity that I had. There were no real women's teams that had formed at that time, so I played with the boys right through, and I got a tap on the shoulder one day from the head of cricket and said, Alyssa, would you like to come and trial for, the first 11? I said, I don't want any special treatment, just trial me like everybody else. If I'm not good enough, pick me in the seconds, pick me in the thirds, wherever you think I will fit. Lo and behold, I get picked in the first 11, which is the first time, a girl has ever played in that competition or for the school in that regard. And there were people that had issues with it. I distinctly remember my grandma was down looking after me, and there was a knock on our door at 6 a.m. in the morning, and I'm in my pyjamas. I go and open the door, and it's Denham Hitchcock from Channel 9 holding up a newspaper, and on the front of the newspaper was a headline of Osama bin Laden, and right next to it is a photo of me in my Barker uniform, because someone had written in a letter saying it was a disgrace that there was a girl in the team, and in this competition it's a boys' competition, and that was such a weird feeling for me. I mean, I thank my parents, they probably sheltered me for a lot of my life, hid me away from that, or from seeing that sort of real sexist behaviour. The biggest challenge that we face in sport is we're always being compared to the men in whatever sport it might be, and that's just such an unfair comparison. It's not really much of a secret to people that the first, big chunk of my career was a really difficult one for me. I sort of was never able to fully kind of nail down a spot and show people, what I could do, what I'd done throughout my whole junior career, and that was a really sort of frustrating thing for me, and I think at the end of the day it led to a real lack of self-confidence. I do remember a game that sort of stands out for me, and it sort of shows the way that our careers went. Meg Lanning had just come into the side and is obviously one of the world's best players, premier players at the moment, will probably go down as one of the legends of the game, and she came out and made a 40-ball 100 at North Sydney Oval, and I was at the other end, and I think I made about 30 off 60 balls and could not hit them off the square. And I remember thinking, I'm the one who's supposed to be making the 40-ball 100, not her. I should know how to do that. I should be feeling comfortable at this level and playing that way. And I kept finding myself picked in the side, so at no time did I have that opportunity to sort of change that thinking. I just thought, well, maybe I'm not quite good enough. I'll just tick the boxes and do my job for the team and do it that way. So I do distinctly remember that as a moment in time for me to go, maybe I'm not good enough. I often ask the question why I was so not confident about my game. I was a really confident kid out there playing cricket with this flair and this excitement about the game, and then I play for Australia and it's sort of gone. It's there to an extent, but the confidence just wasn't there, and I often link it back to just being treated as never good enough all the time, and I think that naturally leads to a lower self-confidence, and that's not what you want as an elite athlete. You want to be out there confident in your ability, confident in what you're about to put out there. Those little extra challenges that are like death by 1,000 cuts every single day when we show up to our job, and it's like we're not quite good enough at what we're doing. We need to be better. We need to be like the men. And I think that's a real challenge that we face every day, and I applaud every single female athlete who gets up out of bed every day and wants to break down those glass ceilings, because we're constantly fighting battles every time we leave our house, knowing that whatever we do is never quite good enough. There's no way that you can succeed at the top level of cricket without a strong mental game. It's just not plausible. I mean, you could probably succeed every now and then, but to have consistent success, you need to be strong up top, and you need to be determined, and you need to be confident in what you're doing and what abilities you can bring to that game or that moment in time. So when my mind games set in, all I try and do is remind myself of how a 12-year-old Alyssa Healy would have walked out onto the field and played. She would have played with a big smile on her face, enjoyment levels through the roof, and she just would have played with this natural flair, and I think that's all I really need to remind myself when, things are starting to get tough. I'm really lucky that I'm as stubborn as what I am. Yes, sometimes it becomes too hard, but thankfully I say, I'm not going to let them win. I'm going to go out there and keep driving.